parents are down in Larry Ralston of Englewood, Colorado. Whoever finds this, please make an attempt to get it to them. Be sure of it. I would appreciate it.
He was stunned there, alone. Only death was around him. He was alive, his brain active, eyes frozen in the wilderness and ears listening to the brutal steps of death, but he could not move an inch. Yes, literally, an inch. Although all his limbs were intact, but even then, he could not move. Just imagine yourself alone in a canyon. The world is all silent except for your heartbeat. And a few moments ago, you are moving joyfully over the stones and suddenly, you slip, and a boulder traps your arm against a rock wall. No phone, no help, no one knows where you are. How would you feel, and how would you fight to survive? Despite all odds, that valiant guy is still alive today and has himself become a motivational speaker. Who saved him in that monstrous wilderness? His courage, his belief, and his unrelenting resolve. This is the true story of Aron Ralston, a man who faced a life-or-death situation in 2003 that will leave you speechless. And in the end, you will have only one thing to say. Oh, unbelievable. With only one expression, wow. And the next comes the story that's raw, real, and unforgettable. Hit that subscribe button, grab some popcorn, and let's go. Oh, and stick around for a poll at the end. Meet Aron Ralston, a 27-year-old adrenaline junkie, born in Ohio, but fell in love with wild mountains of Colorado. By 2003, he was a mountaineering pro, having ditched his cozy desk job at Intel to chase epic challenges. He believed, follow the excellence and success will follow. He had a dream, to solo climb all 59 of Colorado's 14ers, peaks over 14,000 feet in winter. Imagine the heart it takes. On April 26, 2003, Aron headed to Bluejohn Canyon, Utah, a remote slot canyon where red rock walls tower like ancient guardians. No cell signal, no crowds, just Aron, his backpack, open desert, and rugged terrain. He didn't tell a single soul where he was going and what he was aiming at. All he packed was a half-liter of water, a Mexican sandwich, a cheap multi-tool, and a small video camera. Things were about to go horribly wrong for him. Aron was squeezing through a tight slot in Bluejohn Canyon when the disaster hit him hard. He is moving joyously, playing with little rocks, looking in the sky where sun is blazing. He is throwing stones over the rocks and in the depths, shooting himself with his small camera. He feels the life at its zenith. He thinks the life was never so beautiful, perhaps. And the very next moment, he finds himself in the clutches of death. This is how life takes turns in no time. He was taking a selfie standing on an 800-pound loose boulder on the edge of a narrow ravine. He was wondering how this loose boulder was brought here, that his foot slipped and he fell into the ditch deep down and is followed by the boulder that falls on his right arm. Now his arm is stuck between the boulder and the rock and is literally crushed against the canyon wall. He was trapped 8 miles from his truck, in a place so remote that nobody would hear your screams in miles distance. For quite a few moments, he was in surprise and in disbelief, and he looked around at what had happened to him. When he got his nerves back, he started fighting back with everything he had. First of all, he tried to pull his arms from the bloody clutches of that boulder. He used all the power of his body, but in vain. Then, he thought of the cheap multi-tool in his bag. He chipped at the boulder with its dull blade, barely scratching it, but finally, a futility. He thought that the boulder can be moved off its place, so he pulled out his climbing ropes and the pulleys to shift the rock. But that 800-pound boulder did not move by even a fraction of an inch. Nothing. Just desperation. Hours turned into days. His water was running out by day 2, and what he did was detestable, disgusting. But he had to do this to survive. He collected his own urine in the water bottle. Oh my God. Yes, this is what it is. That he had to do to have some liquid to keep him alive. The desert sun baked him, the nights froze him. Desperate, he drank his own urine to survive. Pause for a second. Imagine being stuck like that, alone. No food, no water, just you and your thoughts. What would keep you going? Here is the most heart-touching time of his story that will make you cry. Aron started recording video messages on his camera. saying goodbye to his parents, his sister. Just imagine, a living young of 27, with no disease, perfectly all right as himself carving his name and R.I.P. into the rock, thinking this was the end. His messages would say, "Mom and Dad, I love you so much. I'm sorry I didn't tell you where I was going. You've given me an amazing life." He reflected on childhood memories and how much their support meant to him. To his sister, Sonia, he conveyed affection and regret, mentioning specific shared experiences. One poignant line was along the lines of, "Sonia, you're the best sister anyone could have. I love you. Take care of Mom and Dad." Oh, how painful it was. By day 5, Aron was in a bad condition, languishing, starving, dehydrated, and hallucinating, almost faint. He saw a vision of a little boy, his future son, playing in the sun. That image lit a spark, but his body was fading fast. On day 6, something shifted. In a moment of raw determination, Aron realized the boulder wasn't moving, but he could. He decided to break his own arm to escape. He felt a flood of energy and enthusiasm entering into his body. This energy came from the nature, destiny. But why? Due to his unfaltering will and determination, fortune favors the brave. He made an audacious decision of cutting his forearm to get rid of the clutches of that boulder. Yes, you heard right. He decided to cut his arm and be free. It was a big and daunting task, but with a bigger reward. He snapped his radius and ulna. An unlimited sense of pain he went through. But he saw a ray of hope now that he could live and achieve his dreams. This was not yet the end. Ordeal was still there, and the story of next 1 hour of his life will make you sweat in your chilling room. He then used his dull knife to cut through muscles, arteries, and nerves. It took an hour of excruciating pain. He later said it felt like sticking his arm into a cauldron of lava, but also like freedom. He was taking his life back. I'm shaking just telling this story. Could you make that choice? If you're as floored as I am, smash that like button and let's keep going. Aron's not out of the canyon yet. Free from the boulder, Aron was still far from safe. He'd lost 25% of his blood and 40 pounds in 5 days. With a makeshift tourniquet, he steered 65 feet down a sheer cliff, one-handed. Then he hiked 7 miles across scorching desert, each step a battle against collapse. His body was shutting down, but his mind screamed, "Keep going!" Then, a miracle. A Dutch family, Eric, Monique, and their son Andy, spotted him. They gave him water and Oreos, the first food he'd had in days. They radioed for help, and a helicopter airlifted Aron to safety just 4 hours after he freed himself. Doctors said he was 16 minutes from death. This wasn't just about surviving a canyon. It was about Aron's will to live for his family, for that vision of his son. And yes, he later had a son, Leo, just like in his hallucination. Isn't that wild? Rangers later recovered Aron's arm, needing 13 men and a hydraulic jack to move that boulder. He cremated it and scattered the ashes in Bluejohn Canyon, a final goodbye to his ordeal. Aron turned his story into a best-selling book, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, and the Oscar-nominated film 127 Hours, directed by Danny Boyle with James Franco. He didn't just survive, he thrived. He became the first person to solo climb all of Colorado's 14ers in winter even.